Hello there, welcome to Joy News Desk with me, Mamiesi Nyameche Thompson. The next 60 minutes, land dispute in the Savannah region leaves 10 dead and several others injured as residents flee the region for safety. Also coming up, communities along the wide Volta urged to take precaution as the Bagre Dam spills today ahead of schedule. We'll touch base with our correspondents in those regions, and in our hotline documentary Deadly Doses, we reveal how teenagers as young as 13 are trapped in a spiraling drug epidemic, with health workers warning of a crisis tearing through Kumasi. Details of this coming up shortly with me, Mamiesi Nyameche Thompson. Don't go away, we'll be right back. And we start from the Savannah region, where land dispute has left 10 people dead and several others injured as residents flee the region for safety. Now, the death toll in a violent land dispute in Benyeri, located in the Sola Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region, has risen to 10, with 12 others injured and 2 houses destroyed. What started as a disagreement over land escalated into deadly violence, leading to heightened tensions. And Joy News has learned that some residents are fleeing the community while others are taking refuge at the police station. Savannah regional correspondent Isaac Nunya joins us with more. Isaac, first give us a background to this clash and tell us about the security situation in Benyeri following this deadly clash.
The incident started like a disagreement between 2 people over a parcel of land at Benyeri. The information is that a resident of Benyeri bought a land from the chief of the area and started developing. But they were approached by the son of the area, the son of the chief of the Benyeri, who asked them to stop developing the land. Then the second approach resulted to a fight in which the son of the chief was beaten. He left and allegedly mobilized colleagues to go back to Benyeri, the community, and to launch an assault on the youth there. In the process, 2 people were passed on. They also went on a reprisal attack and managed to put 2 people down. Now, it led to the Benyeri chief running over to Kalba, which is a nearby community. After seeking refuge there, he was asked to be taken back home based on his own request. And the son of Kalba, the Kalba chief, was part of those escorting him. And in the process, they were attacked, and the chief and other people escaped, but the son of the Kalba was shot and killed. That is what is happening as we speak now.
We also understand the residents are fleeing the community. Some have even made the police station their abode. What's the current security situation there?
That is true. The situation on the ground now is tense. Nobody trusts the other. Last night, a good number of people from both Calabar and Benyeri didn't sleep at home. Many went to the farm. I know of a popular pastor at Calabar. We're told he passed the night in the bush with his family. And those who could not travel far tried to seek refuge at the police station. So they passed the night at the police station. As we speak now, we have more than 50 people at the Calabar police station still seeking police protection. Those who stay at Solar and Tuna Township, you know, everybody knows everybody. They have to find their way to the communities where, you know, it's a farming community. They have to hide themselves. Currently, the police and the soldiers have mounted some roadblocks from Damago going to Sola. Before you enter 100 meters to Sola, the military are there with roadblocks, checking to ensure that nobody enters the town with any offensive ammunition. And also from border coming to Sola, 3 areas: border to Sola, Damago to Sola, and then what to Tona. These 3 areas, there have been roadblocks with intense security presence in all these areas.
But the police hasn't made arrests yet. We also understand this morning they are addressing the issue. Have they started yet?
Yes, the police is scheduled to address the media, but since there have not been any arrest, so until they come to address the media, we'll put caution before that to find out if they have arrested anybody and they're keeping him or her somewhere that we don't know. Else, for now, the police will tell you that there have not been any arrest. The second day, where the police went to the community, the whole thing started 3 days ago, but it became worse the second day, where the 2 people were killed in Beyiri. So the police went to the community and tried to check their houses to see if they could retrieve any ammunition. That was not successful until the second attack, the third attack from the other factions, and the 3 people were also killed.
How about community leaders? What interventions have they put in place to avert further escalation?
The community leaders, particularly the sub-chiefs from both sides, we are told they are trying to come to the Gonja King, who is Yagbonwura Binkunutu, Jewu, today. Either this Monday or Wednesday, but we are told today they are meeting the king of Gonja land. And also, RESEC will be meeting the police, we are told, before they then tend to address the media. That's why they're delayed. They're supposed to meet the media at 10, but we are told that they'll be meeting RESEC. After that meeting, then they'll address the media.
Right. Thank you so much, Isaac Nonya, for that update in the Savannah region, and we'll definitely update our viewers on that particular press conference when it's had over there. But let's move on. The management of Sonabel, the power-producing company in Burkina Faso, has changed the controlled water spillage from the Bagre Dam from Wednesday, August 27 to today, August 25. The scheduled change was due to the sudden rise in the Bagre Dam to a filling capacity of 90.24%. It also revealed that it has a water level of 234.27 meters as of Saturday. A statement from the Water Resources Commission, on Saturday advised communities along the White Volta and other adjoining areas to take precautionary measures. It stated that they should adhere to guidelines from local assemblies and the relevant agencies to ensure their safety. Well, let's get updates on preparations in the regions likely to be affected. Joining us this morning is Albert Sori, and he's joining us from the Upper East region. Albert, the impact hits your region first. Are there adequate preparations to avert this disaster, if any?
Yes, Ma'am. I am currently on my way to Kwalugu, which is usually one of the worst affected areas every year. The calls are made to some of the farmers and residents in that area before going there show that the announcement was made to a lot of them over the weekend to try and get to their farmlands to see if they can salvage some of their harvests before the floods hit. Usually when the water is spilled, what happens is that if we have a lot of rains here as well, then it compounds the situation. Fortunately, in the last 1 week, we haven't had too many rains in this region. Even today, the sun is a bit high. And so chances are that we are likely not to see too much impact, but it also depends on how much water is spilled. From what we have seen in the statement, the Burkinabe authorities indicated that they are going to do a controlled spillage, which usually is a way of spilling the water in bits instead of waiting for the dam to be in danger before they open the whole spillway. And so if this happens, we are likely to start seeing any impact whatsoever in about 48 hours or so. But the farmers tell me that they are currently on their farms, and when I get there, I'll speak to them and know what preparations they are making on the ground in anticipation of any floods that may come.
Well, we do know that in the event like this, they usually will have to go to higher areas to ensure that when the water comes, it doesn't affect them much. But if they are on their farm now, does it mean they're going to, make any arrangements to move, or they have decided not to leave?
Yeah, so in the case of Kwalugu and a lot of the areas in Binduri and Talensi district where people are normally affected, people don't live around the waterways anymore because this issue of Bagre and yearly floods has been going on for more than a decade.
Yeah.
And so over the years, they've been able to get many people who used to live around these areas to move. Now, what they have in the areas that are normally flooded are just the farmlands, because a lot of the farmers still tell us that the lands there are fertile and they can't just leave the farms and go away. So normally they try to start the farming season very early so they can get some harvest before the floods come. And so for the farms, they will continue to go there from the look of things because they do not have any other places where they can cultivate. And so that is the situation that we have. So in a situation like this, they are going to try and collect as much harvest as possible and hope that by the time the floods come, they are able to they don't make any losses. But also if the floods are not serious, then it also keeps them in a position where the rest of their produce can, get to maturity and then later they can harvest.
Right, and I know you're on your way to Kwalugu Dam. This project is supposed to receive the water that is being spilled in Bagre. But as of now, we do not know its status. But the last time you were there, remind us, what was the status of that project?
The project has not been done, Mamiesi. I did a documentary in 2022 on this project, and in that documentary, the conclusion we came to, following all the interviews that we made and talking to stakeholders and chiefs and people in the area where this dam construction site was supposed to be, there wasn't even enough time left for the government to do anything as far as completing the dam was concerned. Last year, it remained the same. There was talk about some $11 million that had been used to do some preparatory works, building a campsite and other facilities that were needed to house the contractors and other equipment that were needed for the construction of the dam itself. So that's all that has been done. But as far as the dam itself is concerned, there hasn't been any construction at all. Where I'm going to is the Kwalugu community itself, where people have farms around the White Volta, which usually, overflows when the Bagre Dam is spilled, and then people lose their farmlands.
Right. All right. We'll certainly be expecting more from that visit there. Thank you so much, Albert. Sorry for that update. Also joining us is Martina Bugri from the northern region. How are preparations there, Martina?
For farmers who live along the Black and White Volta, they have begun harvesting. That is those who planted early, but those who planted late may probably lose their farm produce because most of the crops are actually not matured yet. Now, I was able to speak to NADMO this morning. And what we are being told is that they are doing sensitization in communities along the Black and White Volta. They are also monitoring for any emergency in case there is the need to do an emergency rescue. We're also being told that they began mobilizing resources in case there is the need to move and meet communities with resources. They have also identified some safe havens for people to move in case the floods come and people are affected. Now, remember that in 2020, over 15,000 people in the northern region were affected by floods. Out of this number, 7,000 came from the Pumbungu district. That is where large numbers came from, and over 9 communities and over 120 communities in 9 districts were affected. And so anytime there is this spillage, it hits hard in the region. And so people are anticipating that it is going to be so if what they are understanding is if they are releasing the water now, hoping that in the next 2-3 in the next 2-3 days, it will arrive in the area.
Well, Martina, we understand from what you're saying that NADMO is prepared, but what sense do you get from the residents? Are they prepared to also move or take precautionary measures now that the dam has been spilled?
No, every year we have this issue of where are they moving to? That's the question most would ask. And they would prefer to wait, hoping that it doesn't come. And the last minute when it arrives, they begin running. And that has always been a challenge. But we are hoping that this time they would adhere to the precautionary measures being given now and begin to move to higher grounds even before the water comes in.
All right. Thank you so much, Martina, for that update. Well, when the Bagre Dam is spilled, it affects at least 4 regions, the Upper East, Northeast, Northern, and Savannah areas. And we'll still, touch base with our reporters to get a sense of the preparations ongoing in those areas. But until then, let's now head to the Central region, where a delegation from the Ghana Education Service headquarters in Accra, led by Deputy Director General Professor Smile GC, and accompanied by Deputy Central Regional Director of Education Harriet Sego, visiting some WASSCE centers in Cape Coast this morning. Abigail Asel joins us on Zoom with more. Abigail, what can you report? So we're still trying to get in touch with Abigail, but we understand that the directors from the Ghana Education Service are visiting some WASSCE centers in the region, and Abigail is with them. We're trying to see how the examination is going, also to check whether rules are being adhered to in that region. We're still trying to establish contact with Abigail there. So many things happening on the educational front this week. We'll get in touch with Abigail and get more from there. Former Vice President in 2024 NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has condemned what he describes as tribal politics targeted at his northern roots. Speaking at the NPP USA chapter's 30th anniversary, he warned that using tribal and religious sentiments could undermine party unity and harm the NPP's electoral fortunes. His response follows comments by fellow contender Dr. Brian Champong, alleged to have linked Dr. Bawumia's background to the party's defeat.
As we prepare to go into the primaries, I am very, very concerned and troubled that some of our presidential aspirants have embarked on a religious and tribal bigotry and propaganda against me in a desperate attempt to win votes. They totally ignore all the data and findings about why we lost the 2024 elections and want to mislead the delegates and the party with such propaganda. The one such issue that has come up, and I think it's important for all of us to know, is the Mamprosi-Kusasi conflict. An aspirant has said that delegates should not vote for me because I am a Mamprosi man, and that we will lose votes in the Kusasi areas and other areas. This is very unfortunate and demonstrates a complete lack of understanding of the situation on the ground.
Well, Dr. Brian Champong's camp has responded, saying his words have been misrepresented. Meanwhile, he's questioning his party's decision to opt out of the upcoming by-election in Tamale Central. In his view, the party should have tested its strength in the constituency to adequately prepare itself to capture the seat in 2028.
President Kufuor, we need MPP vote we need MPP vote President Kufuor, we need MPP vote and we need MPP vote And this is essential quality for me. I am a Fabaku and Yapa. And in 2024, about 1 night a quarter, a free OT, Edico upper east, upper west, and northern, upper western region. The Lucy is the whole it's an and if you are a victim of circumstances, it's not your fault. I may know anything, but we cannot wait. This situation, we and I have one price on him, which we have solved in 2028. But the suspicion will not go away. And MPP will not be held ransom and stay in the position because of this matter.
Well, away from politics, calls are intensifying for a more targeted approach in tackling substance abuse among the youth. As Joy News investigation reveals rising cases of illicit drug use among young people in the Ashanti region, clinical health psychologist Peter Amadou Minter, speaking on the AM show, charged government to roll out concrete measures to curb the illegal sale and purchase of these substances on the market. But before we hear from him, here are excerpts from the documentary Deadly Doses by my colleague Nana Boachi Yado.
Veronica, not her real name, is one of the addicts receiving treatment at Cath. She got hooked to drugs after her ex-boyfriend introduced her to it in Accra. Under the condition to keep her identity anonymous, she tells me how it all started.
It was through my ex-boyfriend. I was at Accra, and he was also a driver to one politician. So like the girl was having money. So anytime like I go there, we feel like we're having sex. Just want to get high. And when I started with cigarettes. That's for more white, not knowing like you just mixed the cigarette with the drug. So anytime I just take the cigarette, it look different. If I just get out from that side, from her side, I go and buy myself my own cigarette, that more white. I take it, the taste also looks different. So one day I asked him, what's inside the cigarette that I used to give him? He said, oh, it's this. It's cocaine. It means I took it for 2 years.
In a very sober mood, she admits that the recovery process hasn't been easy.
Hey, suffocation. So, the way I'm suffering, you can ask the madam, the doctors, and the patients around here. I don't sleep at night. And even there's some fusion, if they put it on me, I will cry throughout before the fusion will just went up. It's like there is a sore inside my body. So anytime the fusion gets to my body, then they just start to itch me.
Kenneth Edukwachi is a pharmacist in Kumasi. He explains the essence of drugs such as opioids and how it leads to addiction.
Medication that are given for moderate to severe pain. Yes, so after the person is done with, let's say, the pain management, when you are taking opioids help with the release of something called dopamine. So dopamine release causes euphoria, causes pleasure, causes excitement, and after the pain has subsided, maybe they experience the fact that there were some pleasure or excitement when taking these medications, and I'll go ahead and take it. I'll continue taking it because of the pleasure that it's giving me.
According to him, there is a significant surge in the purchase of opioids among young people, especially on the streets, indicating the essence of regulations.
These drugs are deadly and we have to be careful. We have to get a regulation to help us regulate these drugs very, very well.
We used to buy those things. We are insane. Because going to buy something is wrapped. You don't know what's inside, you don't know the quantity, you don't know how it is. You just take money, go buy.
The Ashanti Regional Director of NACOC, Samuel Yeboah, underscores the role of neighboring countries in this crisis.
We've been making some arrests at the Kotoka International Airport. I must say that, you know, this is one of the indicators that point to the fact that drug trafficking is on the increase, because the more people try to cross the airports and they are arrested, it just tells us trafficking is on the rise.
Dr. Jones Opokuwari is a criminologist at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He has spent years studying the interplay between crime and societal decay.
Studies have always found a positive, correlation between use of illicit drugs and crime, especially robberies. Okay, there are so many research within the crime literature that establish this link. So whatever the women are saying on the ground and the people are saying on the ground may be true, because always sometimes criminals will need some, form of boosters, as it were, to be able to carry out the kind of activities that they want to carry. So for instance, if it's about robberies, some of them have to be high to be able to execute the kind of things they want to execute, because if you look at them, maybe naturally, if they are supposed to operate with their natural senses, they may not be able to carry out the things they want to do because those operations are mostly very deadly.
We can now hear from clinical health psychologist Peter Amado-Mintir, who warns that the abuse of these drugs is causing lasting damage to the youth and, if unchecked, could negatively affect future generations.
As part of the abuse, the fueling of abuse among young people has to do with the, I have often mentioned that it's an issue of what is happening around, what they see, the people that are in their environment, and then in their school systems. And these are the challenges. And the majority of the people or the young people that we have come across are in school. And it's always disheartening that you can go to your school and you can find young people who are trading. And like we saw in the video, it is not just at the ghettos, they are happening in communities that are really not the ghettos, informal situations, like the schools. And they have their bosses. And as they really said, the truth is that if we want to deal with the issues of substance, then there must be a holistic approach.
Well, let's head to the Central Region now and get back to the story about the delegation from the Ghana Education Headquarters in Accra, led by Deputy Director General and Professor Smile GC, and accompanied by Deputy Central Regional Director of Education, Harriet Sego, visiting some WASSCE centers in Cape Coast. And Abigail Esel in Nkrumah is on the line with us now. Abigail, what can you report?
So this morning we went to some centers, some WASSCE centers in Cape Coast, where the Deputy Director General for Management and Services by the Ghana Education Service, along with the Regional Deputy Director of Education, she was touring some of the WASSCE centers to inspire these students during the examination, and also caution them against examination malpractices. And she shared with us some measures that the authority has undertaken to ensure that students don't engage in examination malpractices. And she says that some or all heads of schools have signed an undertaking to ensure that their schools do not fall culprits to these malpractices. And she also mentioned that they have special eyes around monitoring the examination process, and that even heads of schools are not aware of, to ensure that none of these schools or students are engaged in examination malpractices. And so in the Central Region, we have about 75 schools taking part in the WASSCE examinations, and some 41,421 students or candidates involved in the examination this year.
And from what you're telling me, does that mean there's not been any incident reported since it started?
Currently, no, we've not heard anything, but she assures us that the Regional Education Director assures us that security is very tight to ensure that no incidences are recorded. And in some of the schools, we recorded some students who are absent. For Fansipen, we had one student absent due to traveling, a traveling situation. And at the Ogwa Senior High and Technical School as well, we had 4 students absent. We did not get a reason for that. But we also know that in Ogwa Tech, again, some 5 girls candidates are pregnant and sitting for the exams as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Abigail, for that update. Also, the head of the National Office of WASSCE, Dr. Rosamond Wilson, is touring some centers in Accra this morning. She's currently at the Forces Senior High Technical School in Burma Camp, where the first core paper, Social Studies, is underway. Adobia Saris then joins us via Zoom. Adobia, what else has come up on the tour?
Right, Mamiesi, like you rightly mentioned, the head of the national head of WASSCE, Dr. Mrs. Rosamond Wilson, is touring WASSCE centers this morning. We left Forces Senior High Technical School not too long ago. Everything was going on smoothly until they noticed something fishy. One of the invigilators, who was not properly dressed, tend to attract the attention of some of the members of the delegation, and upon further probing, they realized that his mobile phone was with him, which is not permitted in the first place. And when they went through the phone, they noticed that there were some questions in there. So the phone has been confiscated for further investigation. Also, he's been asked to write a report. Currently, we are at the Sechiasare Menako WASSCE Hall, where 2 schools are writing the first paper, which is Social Studies. So we're yet to move to the next center with the WASSCE board. So that's currently what is going on at the moment.
Thank you very much, Adobia Sari, for that update. And as we all know, Social Studies is underway in the WASSCE. Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana in the Ashanti region has uncovered a new trend of power defaulters changing their old meters to new ones to avoid paying for consumed power. The power distribution company observes a significant number of power consumers in the region after realizing they owe huge bills, deliberately acquired new meters which have been identified as illegal. At least 10 of such incidents have been recorded in the region, with 1 person already in police custody to be processed to court. More in this report.
The Ashanti region has in the last few years recorded the highest number of power theft cases in Ghana. Although the ECG is working to clamp down on the illicit activity with renewed and strategic measures to seal the power leakages, a new trend of the illegality is emerging. Some power consumers in the region have found a means of acquiring new meters to escape payment of debt owed on their old meters. Benjamin Obientry is a PRO for the ECG Ashanti West.
People are not really even doing that illegal connection now, but what they do is that the main meter that they've received from ECG, once there is debt on it, then they throw that meter away and go for these illegal meters. Then they place it there. So lately we've been identifying a lot of foreign or fake meters on the field, because they have a debt on that meter. Or someone will say, even recently we piloted a smart prepaid meter at our Kokoben district. A customer who received that smart prepaid meter for free as part of the pilot process took that prepaid meter away and then fixed this foreign meter over there. So we searched them and then they made the payment. But the one at Ibuakwa, for that one, we identified he was the one behind it, the brain behind what was happening. And he even took us to areas where he had done some of these illegal acts at. So for him, he is currently in police custody.
The region, like many parts of the country, has witnessed stable power supply in the last 3 months, as the ECG attributes this to its internal strategic works to keep the lights on. The stable power is boosting business sales in the region. President of the Federation of Kejitia Traders Association, Nana Akwesi Prempeh, wants sustained power supply.
We as traders are pleased with the stability of the supply, but our only concern has to do with how sustainable it is going to be. We only hope and pray that Electricity Company of Ghana and then the Energy Ministry will make sure that though there have been some marginal stability, it should be sustainable so that it will aid traders to know how to plan well in terms of our business transactions.
Meanwhile, the ECG is upgrading its power infrastructure in the Barikesi enclave to enhance power supply to the water treatment plants in the area and the residents.
We are undertaking a massive project that will improve power supply to customers within the Barikesi stretch, and this project is only going to benefit ECG. It's also going to benefit Ghana Water, because you know Ghana Water supplies Greater Kumasi from the Barikesi headworks, and they also rely heavily on electricity to supply power, push water from Barikesi all the way through their booster station at Achiasi to Kumasi. And we are hoping to complete that project latest by first quarter next year.
For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Director of the 24-hour policy of the Ghana Police Service Secretariat, Chief Superintendent Benjamin Ania, has asserted that the police are ready to implement the program. Speaking to the media after a sensitization workshop for personnel in the Upper West region, Chief Superintendent Ania noted that feedback from across the country indicates that personnel have embraced the policy and are preparing strategies to ensure its success. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
Ghana's 24-hour economy policy, which was a campaign promise of the National Democratic Congress (NDC), was launched in July 2025. It is an initiative to revitalize the economy by extending economic activity to operate around the clock in key sectors like agro-processing, manufacturing, transport, digital services, and health. Led by President John Dramani Mahama, the policy aims to boost productivity, increase exports, and create jobs by maximizing the nation's resources and unlocking its full economic potential. The security services, for that matter, the Ghana Police Service, will be an integral part of the program. As a result of that, the Inspector General of the Ghana Police Service has formed a team of senior officers to go around all 25 police regional commands in the country to educate and sensitize personnel on the initiative. Leading the charge is Chief Superintendent Benjamin Anya Esquire, Director of the Ghana 24-Hour Police Secretariat.
Yeah, for the police, the Inspector General of Police, the current Inspector General of Police, who then was the Deputy Inspector General of Police in the immediate aftermath of the elections, having the foresight and the wisdom that the Ghana Police Service was going to play a very pivotal role in the rollout of the economic policy, put together a team of seasoned officers to carve out a concept paper to guide the police service in the rollout of the economic policy. And then he didn't stop there. He also went ahead to form the 24-hour economy secretariat. And that secretariat is responsible for coordinating other key stakeholders to make sure that the rollout takes form. And he's gone ahead to task us to go around to every region of the police service. You know, in police service, we have 25 regions, and this is our 20th region that we have hit. Tomorrow next, we'll be in Savannah, we're going to Northern region, Northeast, and then we'll end up in Volta and return to Accra.
Chief Superintendent Benjamin Anya Esquire asserted that the police are ready for the program and will ensure that it succeeds.
Indicate that has been the sentiments all over the country, the regions that we have been to, the regional commanders and all police officers are poised for the success of this policy, and we are ready to seize the opportunity and then to provide our services as an institution to make sure that this 24-hour economy as a program actually succeeds.
Our Regional Commander of the Ghana Police Service, DCOP, Nidako Elomoti, was pleased with the program, adding that it will enable them to strategize for its success.
We have gone through the program itself. We have seen what it means, where we will factor our patrols, where we will factor our security infrastructure for it to be able to capture everybody who is going to be involved in the program. And so far, we can say that now that we have gotten the briefing from the government sides, we'll also be listening to how we are going to do it, and then use that one as our backbone to get the work done. And we want to assure everybody in the Upper West region that so far as this program is concerned, the police doors are open. They can contact us, they need anything, and then let us know. And together, we'll police the program that will roll out by the various investors that are already on the ground and those that will come in.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
The Techiman North District is set to unlock a new stream of income and create hundreds of jobs with the launch of a multi-fruit processing factory. The project, spearheaded by the Minister of Trade and Local Government local MP Elizabeth Owusu-Ajari, will primarily utilize the previously discarded cashew apple, transforming it into valuable products for the market. And as Abate reports.
Generations, the people of Techiman North have lived off the cashew nut. But for every nut harvested, a juicy vitamin-rich cashew apple was left to rot, a symbol of wasted potential. That is until now, as this considered waste is now seen as a golden opportunity, with a new factory set to transform the local economy by harvesting the power of the forgotten cashew apple. Member of Parliament for the area and Minister for Trade, Elizabeth Owusu-Ajari, believe this will enhance the livelihoods of the people here.
As MP for Techiman North, one of the biggest things we do here is the production of cashew nuts. But we only harvest the nut and throw away the cashew apple. It's also of value, medicinal value. It's also good for refreshment. And so I've always been thinking of how I'll process the cashew apple so that we can have value extension for our cashew. And so today, I'm here to cut a sword for the construction of a factory to process cashew apple. And I'm hoping to finish this early enough for the next season. And so I hope that this will be good. It's going to create jobs for our youth. It's also going to give more money to our farmers, because hitherto they're throwing away the cashew apple, but now they are going to buy it.
The factory's model is designed for sustainability, processing cashew apples during the main season and pivoting to other locally grown fruits like watermelon during the off-season. This promises a stable income stream and a massive boost to the local economy. A smart move that has the entire community excited.
The original fruit that we've decided to process is cashew apple, but we will tweak the machine so that in lean season we can process other fruits like watermelon. And so we want to make sure that it's running around the clock. Another 24-hour economy, another resetting agenda, another job for our people.
Ohaniba Jumo Ampem Dakon is the Ankobia Hene here. He says the community is ready to give its utmost support to the project and called on other investors to take advantage of the available lands in the area for similar developmental projects.
Today, in fact, we are very happy to have such an occasion like this. And we know that this project will create a job for the youth, the community around us. As I mentioned earlier, the youth are around. So in terms of any activity that they would need, we will try to bring the boys in to come and support the project.
But perhaps the greatest excitement is amongst the youth, who see this as a direct path to financial empowerment and a reason to stay and build their futures right here at home. We were excited when we heard about this new cashew factory. It will help us in diverse ways financially, and it will also help the youth in getting jobs to do. And so this is the time we have to increase our effort in our farming businesses. From a symbol of waste to a beacon of economic hope, this factory promises to not only process fruit, but to process the very future of Techiman North, turning potential into prosperity, one cashew apple at a time. Anna Sabit, Joy News, WASSCE.
Still watching Joy News Desk. We have business, but before that, we take a break. We'll be right back.
Back to
Here on News Desk, my name is Winston Taki, and out to our first business story. Work has resumed on the long-stalled Western Railway Line project, a development expected to boost Ghana's mineral haulage and revenue potential. Chief Executive of the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Dr. Frederick Apo, inspected ongoing works and expressed confidence the project will unlock massive economic gains.
As the backbone of Ghana's transport network, the Western Railway Line is steadily coming back to life. The line historically linked Ghana's mineral-rich enclaves in Takwa, Nsuta, and Awaso to the Takoradi port.
Amandi, which is our contractor, has resumed work on the Western Railway Line. I am pretty much sure that this resumption of works will also energize the resumption of works for our local sleeper factory. RMS, they employ over 150 Ghanaians who are sitting at home. So it's a good news that basically we are back on site. I'll repeat this and I'll say this again. The Western Railway Line forms the cornerstone of our 24-hour economic policy in terms of haulage, of manganese. At the moment, we are just 15 kilometers from Nsuta. This is termed as Operation Track Storm. We must reach Nsuta mines at all costs necessary, just to make sure at least we can haul the manganese to Takoradi port. We were looking at estimation. If you look at it, 1 ton of manganese haulage from Nsuta to Takoradi port is about $7.50. Now, we are looking at, GMC is looking at estimated 10 million metric tons. So that's about $75 million per annum. Now, assuming this scenario, where we have 10 million metric tons of bauxite from Yeni, pile up at Nsuta, 5 million from Awaso, we are looking at estimated amount of 25 million metric tons. If we are able to haul this to Takoradi port, we are looking at a consecutive amount of $150 million.
But the project continues to face serious challenges. Land encroachment has become one of the biggest threats to the smooth railway developments. Head of Corporate Affairs, Saudatu Hassana, says despite conversation, many individuals continue to occupy railway lines illegally.
With the issue of land encroachment, it's a big challenge that we are facing as a railway authority. Right from Accra, Techiman, Pakadan, and when we went round, you all saw with your own eye. The encroachers, we are urging them to stay away from rail line. Before the construction of railway lines, compensation were made to landowners. And so we own the land. Encroachers to please stay away from railway lands. Those who are on lease know their limit. We will not spare anybody we find on our railway line.
The authority says with improved security and strict enforcement, it is optimistic the Western Railway Line will soon reclaim its place.
In other development, Glyco General Insurance has donated a total amount of 2 million cedis to dependents of the 8 fallen patriots who died in the helicopter crash on August 6, 2025. Speaking at a brief ceremony to make the donation, Managing Director of Glyco General Insurance, Andrew Champonche, called on Ghanaians not to see insurance as an expense, but an investment.
Following the tragic death and subsequent burial of the fallen 8, Glyco General Insurance has moved to donate 2 million cedis to dependents of the 8 gallant men. Of this amount, 1.8 million cedis will be given to beneficiaries of the gallant 8, 100,000 going to the President's Children's Trust Fund, and 100,000 to the Ghana Armed Forces. Speaking to journalists, Managing Director of Glyco General Insurance, Andrew Champonche Esquire, stated that it is imperative to see insurance as an investment. He further called on Parliament to strengthen the existing laws so that compliance doesn't become optional.
You are aware there's a total of 2 million that is being paid out. A portion or a number will address the actual insurance payout, and a number is also going for as donation to those that did not have insurance. We cannot look after one and leave the other. And so it's important that we stand in unity, that we cover all. And so there is a donation to our fallen 8, those that did not have insurance. And there is also a payout on the policies that were given under the personal accident. And I'll encourage you all that it's important that we protect our lives. As I indicated, having insurance should be part of our social fabric, it should be part of our DNA, that we protect our lives and protect our hard-earned investments, our assets, our buildings, our vehicles, our properties. We seldom don't do it.
Deputy Government Spokesperson Shamima Muslim expressed gratitude for the gesture and called on other corporate institutions to emulate same.
I think it is particularly generous of you to have extended a hand of compassion to the other family members who were not covered under the policy that the other two had taken out. And I think that is particularly commendable. We look forward to receiving more donations for corporate Ghana, specifically to the families and those that would want to donate to the Child Support Fund. You're all welcome to do that.
Meanwhile, the National Insurance Commission has expressed their resolve to continue to innovatively partner insurers to improve coverage. Dr. Abiba Zakaria is the Commissioner General of the NIC.
But remember, it is all about unity and working together. So even as the insurance industry is honoring its part, we also need the society at large to support our industry as well. Not to support by giving us money as people think, but to support the vision behind insurance, rising up in the cause of need to support those who suffer, which means that all of us must act together, come together as policyholders to help so that we can support each other when they start in times like this.
Glyco is confident the memory of the gallant aid will not only inspire the nation, but also secure the future of those they left behind.
That's all for business. My name is Winston Taki. Over to you, Mamis.
And that's a really good gesture for the insurance company as well.
Absolutely.
That's all we have for you today on our news desk. There's more news on myjoyonline.com.